Oh, see, this is how we start. They always do that. Hi. Hello. Hey, guys.
Hi.
How you doing? Introduce yourselves.
man?
How you doing? Let me get this bag down so I can see you guys.
There you go.
How y'all doing?
Great, man. How you
Who
doing?
do we got here today?
Well, I'm Steve Vasquez, a.k.a. Scuba Steve, a.k.a. Scuba Steve. And
Yeah, you have like
up, guys?
7 names on Facebook.
I have so many names, but they all got started because of just people calling me different things.
I like these. I like that name. Add it. I like that name. Add
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's exactly
So what do you
how it
prefer to
happened.
be called?
Everybody calls me Scuba.
Okay,
Like,
that's
literally.
what I've always known you as.
That's what everybody calls me as. So like when somebody else calls me like Steven, it's weird
like,
because
who?
only my mom calls me that.
It's like when you call your girl her actual name.
Exactly. But I only do that when I'm mad at her. So, which is hardly ever. So
All right, brother, who we got?
What's up, man? My name's Todd Lashir, aka TJ.
Closer. There you
Sorry,
go.
man. There you go. What's up,
Damn,
guys?
I thought it was a love hour for a second. He's like, hey, how's it
going, ladies?
Yes.
Very nice voice. All right, go ahead and open your gift so I can get this bag out of the way.
open it.
You do that.
Open it.
I always ask
I'll
everybody
let you
what
open
their
it.
favorite drink is. And it's almost like a test because I don't say what's your favorite alcoholic drink. I say what's your favorite drink.
Yeah.
So everyone always goes one way or the other. Like, oh, yeah, I want some Crown. So you said Crown. Or they say, hey, I want some Jaeger bombs. I'm like, you want some Jaeger bombs?
Oh, yeah.
Or some people are like, no, I'll take a Crush.
Yeah.
Or I'll take a Dutch Pepper.
Yeah.
Or I'll take a High C.
See, and
Like,
I
what?
was okay with water because that's usually all I drink is, oh, damn. And we got the Red Bull and the
Yes,
shot
man.
cups.
That's on
It's
you.
only
Also,
one more
start,
heart,
hey,
bro.
start drinking. The pockets will be better.
Yeah, there you go.
So I appreciate y'all being on here. Go ahead and start drinking if you like to.
Sweet.
This is an open show. You can do whatever you
Yeah,
like.
hell yeah.
But the reason I brought you along, we're getting closer to Halloween,
Yep.
and I think who had commented on one of my pages or one of my posts recently? It might have been you, right, Todd?
Maybe.
You commented something like, "Hey, we got to come on." How do you? I don't want to
yeah,
mess
that was
up
me.
y'all's group's name.
Darkside.
Darkside.
It's
Nice.
Darkside, but it's like the Superman villain. So that's how they spell it in the DC universe.
So it's
Dark-
SEID, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
We're definitely the villains.
yeah,
of
well,
Ghost Hunting.
not just that. The correct spelling was already taken. So, but I always liked the way that sounded. So when we started talking about names, and we found out that the correct way to spell it was taken, we got in the chat and started throwing names around. I was like, why don't we
You
just
could have
do?
just been Darkside 01.
We could have. Yeah. But I still wanted that dark side, but I wanted like something original.
Okay.
So
And what is the group for anybody that's wondering?
So we are Corpus Christi's paranormal investigative team. We go out and investigate the world of the paranormal, whether it be ghosts or
Glug, 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 glug.
UFOs, whatever.
So when you say that, and I'm a big believer, my wife is going to love this episode because she only watches a couple things on TV. She doesn't watch any rom-coms. She doesn't watch any comedies, any horror movies. She only watches murder mysteries or anything about aliens.
Yeah.
That's all she watches. She will not get into anything else. And I don't even mean like real like murder mystery like movies, like real documentaries, stuff like that. Like it actually happened to somebody in some other state.
Yeah.
So when people, and you tell them what you do or you tell them you'll do that, do they instantly get their guard up and go, you're full of shit? Or is
Some people
some
do.
people just jump
Sometimes.
on and go, hold up, you're the guys I've been waiting to talk to. I'm glad I found you.
that has happened a lot. We run into a lot of people that are like, we don't believe in that. Well, that's cool, but everybody's experienced something that they can't explain, and you can sit there and you can think, oh, well, maybe it was this or maybe it was that. Yeah, and you may come to a conclusion, but what if you don't come to a conclusion? You saw something that shouldn't have been there. Is it your mind or is it something paranormal? So there's a lot of people that are naysayers. I've seen stuff all my life. My first
I would say
memory.
everybody's probably a naysayer until something happens to them, right?
Yeah, true. I've seen things all my life since I was a little kid. My very first memory that I can remember was seeing something that wasn't there that nobody else saw.
Really? What was it?
So when I had to have been like 3 or 4.
You remember stuff when you were 3 or 4?
I was 3 or 4 years old, and because it sticks out to me because it scared the shit out of me. I was at my cousin's house, and the neighborhood that I grew up in was surrounded by cornfields. So it was 3 streets, but all around the perimeter was cornfields. So we're sitting in the back room. Windows are open. This is the 80s. This is like 85, 86. Windows are open, and I get this really weird, like rotten egg smell. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I looked over at her and I was like, oh, did you fart? And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you don't smell that? She's like, no. So I'm like, what? So I look out the window and I see somebody standing in the backyard. And the way they look is, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because I can picture it like in my head. So it's just a black figure that looks like it's wearing a trench coat with like a detective style hat. and there's smoke coming out of the ground. And freaks me the fuck out. I freak out. I tell my cousin. We go tell our older cousin. He goes out there with a BB gun. There's nothing out there. I saw that entity 3 more times in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
In the same place?
Different places. Different places. Then come to find out, when I'm a grown-ass adult, other people have seen this entity around the world.
Oh, so you don't think it was something to you or the area? It's something.
It's something that just appeared to me.
Describe it again. Trench coat.
But it's pitch black. So just a solid black shadow. But you can see that it's wearing a trench coat because you see the neck part, and then you see not a top hat. It's like a detective style fedora type hat. And
so kind of like, remember that old Mad comic that had the white spy and the black spy? Something like that?
Kind of like that. More like Dick Tracy. Like Dick Tracy style.
Okay.
That kind of hat, that kind of trench coat. And that's one of my first memories. And I was like 3 or 4 years old. We were watching Thriller. I remember we were watching Thriller on TV.
But did you see it or everybody saw it?
I was the only one that saw it. So I start, it's just your imagination, just your imagination. See it again a few years later, completely different area of Corpus. In an alleyway, see it again. Years later, I'm a teenager, see it again. This time it's in my friend's room.
Were you ever, besides the 3 and 4 year old time, under the influence?
No, never. Not one time that I saw this thing was I ever under the influence.
So when you did read about other people had seen the same image, what did you read about it?
So I used to be a part of a Facebook group called Corpus Christi Paranormal Stories, and people would send in stuff that they saw, and we would post it because I was an admin, so we would just post their stories. So this lady had sent in her story saying that her son had seen something in the closet, and it freaked him out, and he drew a picture of it, and he, that he didn't see anything. All he saw was an outline and what looked like a trench coat. Here's the picture. And my jaw dropped because it was the exact same thing that I had seen. So I posted it. And I was like, oh my God, I saw this when I was a kid. I've seen this multiple times. Does anybody know what this is? And people started commenting, that's the Hat Man. So I go to Google, start Googling stuff, and that's how I found out that this thing's been seen all over the world.
And he's called the Hat Man.
The Hat Man.
Is it called the same thing everywhere? Different names?
The Hat Man. That's what it is. And sometimes he's wearing a top hat and has a cape. Sometimes he's wearing like a detective jacket with
no cap,
hat.
right?
No cap.
No cap.
No cap.
No cap.
Yeah,
It's brutal.
So that's what got me. That's what got me into wanting to actually go out and see if I could find anything.
So let's pause right there.
Okay.
And I want to share the mic, and I want to hear, because I have one I was waiting to tell y'all, but we'll save mine for last. So I want to hear if you've ever had any kind of Hat Man, no cap. What got you into this world where you're, believer, 1, and 2, like, hey, let's do something about it.
Well, I've always heard stories from my parents, like when they used to go out to like graveyards and stuff, and had
What are
fun.
they doing in graveyards?
I don't know, it was Halloween. Like, okay, my mom told me the story one time. Like, her and my uncle went out to a graveyard there in Kingsville, and they kind of jumped the fence. Well, I guess it would be trespassing. Bad parents. They said, "Don't be like me." I was like, "All right, whatever."
Yeah, good. I'm not gonna hang out.
Anyways,
I'm good.
Yeah, dude. So they go in there and they just hear like creepy stuff, and my uncle comes out with like blood on his hand, which he didn't even touch anything. So they started running, and then they noticed all that, and I don't know. I was like, man, whatever. You're bull crapping me, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up going out to the same cemetery. Me and a couple friends, having a good night, We're kind of, drinking stuff. I was about maybe like 17, 18. We go in there. All of a sudden, I hear this big old screech, right? Like it's like the lechuza or something, And we're like,
so
all
not
right.
a person, but it was like something.
I guess an owl, right? I was like, all right, whatever. And then all of a sudden, you hear it again, and there's something just creepy just flies out of a grave, and it's just like a black shadow. And we just started, but we booked it, dude. I don't know, I almost pooped on my pants, and I just booked it, dude. Ever since then, like, okay, I've had like this thing for it, dude. So like,
so you wanted to have that feeling again?
Yes, I do. Like, I'm the taunter of the group, so I'm going there and I'm like talking mad crap. Yes,
He is the
I'm like
taunter.
always talking mad crap, dude. Like trying to get it going, dude.
I see that a lot on some of the different shows. So is that like a known method? Like, hey, you're gonna go in there and talk shit?
You're not supposed to see, and that's the thing. I'm the complete opposite.
I would play
Him
that.
and Mike,
He's always like, shut up.
I'm the nice guy. I'm like, dude, like I'm here. I just want to make contact with you.
Yeah.
Him and Mike are like, hey, bitch, I'm here. Fucking come scratch me or
Come get
throw
me.
shit. This one will play the damn satanic Bible sometimes. I'm like, stop. Like,
do you think you maybe taunt more because there's a part of you that doesn't want to believe it, and so it's almost kind of like a fear thing, like, hey, this isn't real, so I'm gonna just talk shit? Because I would think that someone who's seen it would be a little more like, you're the Bill Murray.
yeah,
You're there and you're part of the group, but you're not a believer. And I've been watching a lot of Ghostbusters lately,
Yeah,
so
me
I'm
too.
familiar.
Awesome. Great movie.
But when you described the ghost a while ago, and this is not my story, but my first experience, or when I remember seeing ghosts like on a television show, it was Ghost, which was Patrick Swayze, and there's those little guys that come out of the ground. And if you watch it now and you've never seen it, you're thinking this is pretty lame.
Yeah.
But back when it came out and I seen it in the theater and it's all dark and there's these. Have you ever seen Ghost, Jessica? Okay, so it's a great movie, just a great love story. Demi Moore, ditto.
Yeah.
When you see those things come out of the ground when they're taking the bodies in, you're just like, is that what happens when you die?
Yeah.
So you just know automatically, am I going to hell right from the start? So that's always been my thing, like, oh, that's creepy. That was what ghosts were to me. And as I got older, it was like a Poltergeist, and then there's Casper. So what's y'all's favorite ghost movie? What's y'all's favorite movie that you feel like, yeah, I've seen that for real?
That's a good one.
Damn. I would say not that I've ever been raped by a ghost, but The Entity is
totally
a really good. It's a really good movie, and it actually happened. It actually happened here in Texas.
What happened? The Entity?
It's an entity.
I've never seen that
Yeah,
movie.
it's a movie called The Entity. It came out in
Without
the
being
80s.
too graphic, what is that movie?
Basically, it's this demonic entity that attaches itself to this woman and starts attacking her and like raping her in the middle of the night. Like it's a horrible movie.
It's like Scary Movie?
It's
Marlon Wayans?
well, it's kind of like that, but that's where they got the premise from.
Really?
Was that? Yeah. But it actually really happened. Like it's documented that it happened here. I want to say it was in Houston that it happened.
Really?
Yeah, back in the 70s.
How
Yeah.
scary.
It's a documented case.
Okay.
Like legit happened.
That went dark. Okay, so
Yeah.
any movies that you've seen where you're like, yep, seen that?
Not that I've ever seen it, but I've seen like a lot of videos on like people getting possessed. So I want to believe it, but I haven't seen it in like my visual, like just being right there in front of it. But I mean, I kind of do believe some of the videos that I do see because people just freak out, bro. Like it's not normal. So I'd have to say like The Exorcist. That was like my favorite. So, but I plan on seeing a real live exorcism. I hope one day.
You don't want to see one.
How do
But-
you like? How do you get how do you get tickets to that show?
I
Is
don't
that
know,
pay per view?
man.
You
Is
don't.
that just like being in certain circles?
No, man, I don't know, dude. I just,
So being here and part of the group that y'all are part of in Corpus, do y'all see a lot of action, or is it a
We
dry
do.
season right now?
Yes,
Well,
we do.
right now, nobody's called us, but usually around
Who you
this
gonna call?
time,
Darkside.
like they're blowing us up. Hey, can you come do this?
Why is it around this time?
Because everybody gets in their minds, oh, it's Halloween. Scarier things happen now. Things happen at any point of the year. It
Well, I would
doesn't-
say the sun goes
Anytime,
down
any day.
sooner, so
it
we
does.
have a little more
You
nighttime.
have more
this
nighttime.
season.
It's just
but
more a little creepy.
Things,
Colder.
things are going to happen when they're going to happen. There's no appointed time in the year or any time of night or day. It doesn't have to be nighttime for things to happen.
See, in my mind, they do. Like I would think, I would only believe it if it was at night. During the day, I think that would seem a little more. It would just seem fake if something happened during the day.
Yeah,
Be like,
yeah.
no way, you're not supposed to come out right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a sense, your mind, because your mind is so attuned to the dark, it's scary. You don't know. But things happen in the daytime. I've seen stuff walk by that wasn't there. What the fuck? When I used to work at the Ortiz Center, things would happen. Doors would open and close, and all the time during the day, we used to see this old lady walking in where we stored all of our equipment in the garage all the time. And you would see like a mist on camera. And we tried to ask them to let us stay overnight to investigate. This was back in the day. I was shit.
What's
in
the
my 20s.
biggest piece of proof y'all have? You're talking about smoke and you get it on camera. What's the biggest piece of proof y'all might
Ghost
have on your
piss.
phone?
Ghost piss.
Ghost piss.
Ghost piss, man.
Ghost piss?
Are you saying ghost piss?
Ghost?
Yes.
Ghost?
Ghost piss. Dude.
So, no, not
Rowdy.
just that. Not just that. The moan.
It is weird how y'all said it at the same time, so it had to have been something. That
So
happened. Go ahead.
that's probably top tier funny one because we all freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
But top tier scary one would probably be
no. Let's go back to the piss.
Okay,
I wanna
so we're at Yorktown Memorial Hospital. Okay.
Okay, which one's that? So
This
that
is
still
in Yorktown,
open?
Texas.
Yorktown, Texas.
Yes,
Oh,
it's in
not Yorktown,
Texas.
like street.
No, not
Sorry.
here.
I was
This
like,
is in
that-
Yorktown,
okay.
Texas.
Yep.
And so we're in the hallway. It's maybe after midnight, a little bit after midnight, and Mike's in the nursery. It's this old dilapidated hospital shut down in like the late 80s. Somebody was actually like murdered in the basement. One of the nurses, her husband or boyfriend or somebody caught her cheating. She was murdered in the basement.
Whoa.
So there's a lot of like bad
this.
stuff that happened there.
Supposedly, more than 2,000 people died in that hospital.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was only open for a short period of time. Like it wasn't even.
Were they going for a record?
I guess, but it was run by the Catholic Church. So that's another thing that draws the entities
questions.
that are
Yeah.
there. So we're in the hallway. Mike's standing here, or Mike's in the nursery. Joe's right here. Okay. This is the hallway. I'm standing right here.
So for those that are listening, we got two solo cups.
2 solo cups, a piece of
And-
paper, and
and
2
a-
Red Bulls. And TJ's right here standing behind me, right? And he goes, man, I got to piss. And I was like, well, just fucking pee, bro.
Yeah.
And I hear pee. So I look, I'm like, bitch, are you
really
really
peeing?
pissing in here? And he's like, what the fuck? No. And so I turn around and there's a door right next to us where that sound's coming from. We open the door. I have the thermal cam on, and you see steam and a puddle on the floor. Mind you, when we open, it's quiet in there. So if it was an animal or
You would have heard the critter going
and
around.
it was a
running around.
huge puddle of piss, huge,
Glowing.
glowing under the.
Shut
the-
up.
Well, in the
Swear.
well, in not
So it
with
was
the
like
visual
warm, I'm
eye,
saying. It was like-
but yeah, on the thermal cam, it was like it was there. You
Fresh.
saw it, yeah, fresh.
Interesting.
So we're like, what the fuck? And as soon as you open the door, that smell of ammonia hit you.
dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it even smells like piss. I was like, taste it. See if it tastes like piss. He didn't taste it, though. But, yeah, so that one, we couldn't figure it out. There was no way for anybody to come in. That room was literally closed off. There was no animals, no nothing. Usually animals leave a heat signature with their feet.
Sure.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So would y'all just pack up and left? Or
No,
y'all just
we
kept
stay.
going?
We spend the night. We spend the night in every location that we go.
What?
Oh yeah,
Overnight.
we're not one of these
Lock it down.
teams that just
In a tent?
no.
No.
Air
Inside.
mattress?
No air mattress.
Sometimes we
we have
just
sleeping
cement.
bags. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we
Buddy
just lay
system,
on
butt
the
to butt?
floor.
How y'all doing
No,
it?
we just
Don't abort the fetal position.
we just go. I'm usually the last one to fall asleep too because I have to have Rick and Morty playing.
I have so many questions, but before we get into the questions, so you brought up a good point a while ago where people see these different things, and I was going to ask, do you think people really see things, or do they have these visions, or do they have dreams, and the dreams are so vivid? That was scary. The dreams are so vivid that it feels real, because obviously everybody's had a dream where it felt so real.
No, I think people really see things.
Yeah.
So here's the earliest thing that I can remember where it's like I can play it right now in my head, and it's just so clear.
Right.
I'm living in San Antonio, and I wake up and I go to my parents' room, and my dad's looking at me and my mom's looking at me, and I'm just normal Saturday, just turn on the TV, probably watching cartoons. And they're like, "Hey, you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" They said, "Do you remember last night?" And I was like looking at them, and I'm thinking like, did I say a bad word in my sleep, or what did I do? I'm only 12 or 13.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what did I do? They're like, you don't remember anything from last night? And I said, no, what happened? They said, you don't remember going outside? And I said, yeah, but that wasn't a dream I had. And they're like, no, you went outside and the alarm went off. And it was like
Wow.
the alarm on the door, like you
Yeah.
unlatched it and you went outside. And I said, no, I remember that in my dream, but I didn't go outside for real. They're like, no, you went outside, you were down the street. And it was
shit.
almost really weird because they knew what happened, but they were quizzing me to see what I remembered.
Yeah.
And I did remember, but again, it was my dream. So
Yeah.
they said, do you remember talking to me at the end of the street? I go, yeah. And do you remember what you told me? I said, yeah, I told you I was chasing a ghost. And he said, yeah. And I was like, that was a dream. He goes, no. He goes, we went down. It was a cul-de-sac. So he goes, we went down the street and I followed you and I walked beside you as you walked all the way to the end of the street. And when I asked you what you were doing, you just kept saying, and very calmly, I'm looking for a ghost. So they're like, what happened? So reverse, right? I guess it's the night before and I'm sleeping. I'm laying in bed, and this is a 2-story house. So in this house, you could see upstairs. And when you would see upstairs, you could see like the little lounge area, and you see a hallway to the bedrooms. You see the staircase go up. Well, in the staircase right at the top, I could see on the second floor, I could see like a light, like just glowing. Not a shape, no, nothing, just a light. Like
Yeah.
I thought, oh, it's the hall light. But then the light started going down the stairs. And then it started going down the stairs, through the kitchen, through the dining, through like the living area. I was sleeping on the couch. And then I just saw the light go straight through the door. And I was like, I'm going to go follow it. This is in the dream. I remember
Yeah.
how calm everything was. And I said, I'm going to go follow it. I don't remember after that going through the door and my dad following me. But he told me, like, no, you went through the door. The alarm started going off. We were freaking out. We thought someone was breaking in. I got my gun. I went and looked at the house looking for you and looking to see if anybody came in. And when I walked outside, you're in the cul-de-sac. And I just started walking you down the street to see what was going on.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, so that's my point of telling you that story is, one, it still gives me creeps when I think about it. But two, when I had this thing, thought it was dreaming, and it really, really happened. So maybe it was a half and half. That's what I'm saying. A lot of times when this stuff happens to people, do you think they're half dreaming, half of it happened?
Well, I mean, it's possible. It is very possible. But were you actually chasing a ghost?
I don't know. But it's weird that my intention was to go follow it.
Yeah. So I had something similar, but mine didn't have to do with a ghost. Mine had to do with a UFO.
Okay.
Okay. So same situation. I wake up. I see this bright light outside. Like I said, cornfields around, where we lived. And the yard across the street from my grandma's house was an empty lot. And I just remember seeing this bright light. And I got out of bed, walked outside. And I remember feeling the mud between my toes. Because I looked down and I was squishing the mud between my toes. And I looked up. And then everything was bright, and then everything was dark. And then there was just flashes. Have you ever seen that movie, Fire in the Sky?
Oh, dude.
Okay.
The worst movie. With the syrup?
Fuck.
The worst.
Oh, dude.
I couldn't eat syrup for a while after that.
So I see something similar to what was in that movie, except it's just a little bit smaller, a little bit grayer. And I remember this long needle coming into my hand. And then I woke up and I was in my bed.
And I was Wolverine.
I wish. That'd have been badass. I'd be fighting crime right now. But so I wake up and I'm like, man, that was a weird fucking dream. Get up to get out of bed to go get water. My feet are muddy. So I was
You're
like,
outside.
What the I was outside. Apparently I had sleepwalking. I
in the mud.
sleepwalked for the first time ever in my life. But then I looked at my hand and I had a red dot on my hand where that needle went into my hand. So maybe something hit me during the day and I didn't notice it, and it was just like a subconscious thing, because I don't think I was abducted by aliens.
Sure.
Do I think aliens exist?
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't
They
think
have
they would come to get me, So like I said, something similar, but not with a ghost, with an alien.
This
So.
was an anaprobe.
that'd have been bad if I woke
I'm
up.
sure
with
that's not
my
their
ass
go-to
hurt.
move, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they got to abduct you a couple of times before they try
Yeah,
that
yeah.
move. So I think a lot of times when people, because I'm going to say something my wife usually says. She thinks ghosts are aliens, and that it's just like a lazy alien leaving traces of them being here. And that's kind of what happens. And so she's a firm believer in ghosts, firm believer even more in aliens. Like, the only time I can get her to listen to anything, I'm like, there's a documentary on aliens. She's like, hell yeah. And so do you think that, one, it's one and the same, or do you think they're two separate things?
I think they're not. If it is aliens, it's not extraterrestrial. It's interdimensional.
Okay.
So what we think is demons, or what we think are demons, aren't really demons at all. They're an interdimensional being that we don't know, that looks like what we think demons are. The multiverse, if it exists. I mean,
I would relate it similar to like us knocking over an ant pile.
Yeah.
Or to the ant, like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And when things happen in our world, maybe there's something similar to that effect, where there's these bigger beings that are larger than our universe, larger than our Earth, and they're the ones kind of just fiddling around with things, shaking the snow globe.
you saw Men in Black.
Exactly, right? It has to be that
Dude,
way.
yeah, there has to be like another dimension, man.
Well, with all the new stuff that came out just this year with like the James Webb Telescope, and they show how big the universe is, and it's. And I told my wife this, like, we all are so naive that we wake up every day. It's like, oh, it's Friday. Oh, it's 5 p.m. We gotta get off of work. We do all these different things because we've told ourselves, but really, there's this huge universe and world that doesn't relate to the calendar
Exactly.
or October or daylight saving times or nothing like that.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, that's why. This is so funny. She goes, that's why. And this is gonna show you how my wife's mind works. That's why on Saturdays I want you to get up early. I was like, why? She goes, because Cash, our dog, he doesn't know it's Saturday, and he's got to go outside and pee. I was like, what are you talking about? You got to wake up. I'm like, is this you telling me to wake up early on Saturday so you don't have to take him out?
That's a good way. But no, man, I mean, there's just so much unknown, and that's why we do what we do, because maybe, and I'm not saying we're going to be the ones to crack the code, But maybe we will. Maybe we'll get that piece of evidence that nobody's ever gotten before. That's what drives me to do this stuff. That's why we sit in the dark singing Selena songs because we're delirious as fuck.
I would think that would make me feel more comfortable.
Well,
little bitty bitty bum bum.
We it's usually what's the god damn it, I don't remember the name of the song right now. Dreaming of You that we usually sing.
Really?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So where's the besides that Yorktown place y'all said the hospital? Where's been the craziest place y'all spent the night where it was just a crazy night? Do y'all sleep? I don't know if I'd be able to sleep.
We do usually.
Sometimes, yeah.
We get about 4 hours
Who
of sleep.
snores
Ben.
the loudest?
Ben.
Dude,
Ben.
that dude is like a chainsaw.
Bro, Ben is so bad. Like I wanted to strangle him.
You can't come on the next trip.
No, he can. He's always welcome on the trips, but we're just not staying in the same place.
But how do you? So how many guys is it?
There's 5 of us.
So how do y'all, as 5 men, go there and not fuck with each other?
No, we do. We do.
dude.
We do.
Like
There's tons of
I
footage.
would be more scared about what y'all are gonna do to me, other than
and
what's gonna
that's
happen
why I don't
here.
trust these motherfuckers because
that seems scary.
I'm not worried about the ghosts. I'm
the
worried about
prankster,
these
man.
assholes scaring the fuck out of me because they know I'm the easiest scare.
But
and
also,
I
they're
am.
probably doing it just to feel.
Yeah,
it's funny, but
it's
also kind of
funny.
ease the tension.
And it is, which is fine because I'm always on edge when we go. I'm Mr. Steve. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna do my shit.
He's the old man.
I'm the old man of the group. But then these assholes want to pop around corners and fucking jump out and scare me, and I'm like, motherfuckers, and they get me every time. Every time.
Where's all this? I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of stuff. So where's all this video? Is it all on Facebook? Or where's y'all?
We live stream everything, which
Okay.
is something that other paranormal groups don't do. We live stream everything.
and then keep it up after.
So we have an idea for a show.
Okay.
We want to throw together a show. It's just editing everything together from every
So
single
many
camera.
hours.
Sure.
I mean, because we have an excess of maybe 20 cameras.
Yeah.
And
When y'all go out,
yeah,
every time
we set
There's
up
just a bunch
steady
of GoPros or what?
We set up steady cams. We have our own camera. So I have a body cam, and then I'm always live streaming. Then I have my camera set out. Then the guys have their camera set out, plus their body cams if they have them, plus their hand cams, plus the cameras they set out. So there's tons and tons and tons and tons of footage that's kind of just sitting on our hard drive right now. And a lot of it's really, really cool stuff that we just haven't put out yet. We have an idea for a show. I'm talking to somebody right now about editing at least one episode together so we can pitch it and put it out and see if anybody if anybody's interested.
What's y'all's favorite ghost shows right now?
I don't really watch them anymore, man. After Ghost Adventures kind of started getting scripted, I kind of lost my flavor for them. The first 3 or 4 seasons of Ghost Adventures was great because you could tell it was just the guys going and doing what they loved. After that, it just kind of got scripted.
I would say, and would be my advice to y'all. I would say those type of people, it started off and their heart was probably really into it, just like the way y'all are talking, the way y'all have your group and you're messing with each other, and then it ended up being a business where, hey guys, we need 17 more episodes, so make some shit happen. Yeah, because the networks don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like, whatever. We need more. So
and the
go
thing
do
is,
more.
Things don't happen the way it does on the TV shows, man. There's investigations where we go and we sit there for 8 hours and nothing happens, absolutely nothing. And we're okay with that. And we'll live stream 8 hours of nothing because people are going to watch 8 hours of nothing. You're going to experience what we experience.
Well, there's a reason why Finding Bigfoot's on season 13.
Exactly. Exactly.
One day it's going to happen.
One day
But there's other teams locally that I know for a fact fake their stuff that they have, and that's fine, whatever. You want to do it for entertainment purposes, but it just makes us look bad. It makes legit teams look bad when you're going to a location and saying, oh my God, there's a demonic entity here that pushed me down and scratched me. And there's never been a report of that.
Never.
Ever. In any, but it happened when you were there. Okay, cool. But then we investigate and we get nothing but happy, friendly responses and nothing evil, nothing demonic.
Is it sometimes not these crazy ghost piss situations? Is it sometimes just little signals?
Oh yeah, like when we did House of Rock, we were the first team to do House of Rock. I know there's a video right now from some other team from not here in Corpus that investigated, and they had all this crazy stuff going on. We didn't experience any of that craziness. We were in the basement we got some.
There's
really
a basement
cool,
in House of Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds creepy.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
where
I
the morgue used to be.
never
Morgue
going
was
there.
right there, yeah.
That's where
The
the morgue
what?
used to be.
The morgue.
What
Yeah.
morgue? Like the city morgue?
Yeah.
It used to be the
Yeah.
first city morgue.
Yeah.
in Corpus.
House of Rock was the
I
first
never
city
knew
morgue
that.
in
I was
Corpus.
going to just ask, like, what did it used to be before House of
Yeah.
Rock? I don't
Yeah, it was the
remember.
first city morgue.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And
So,
so
how big is the basement? Is it the whole
it's
entire
not
floor?
huge. It's not big at all. It's probably about the size of this room. Yeah. With those walls.
What do they use it for? Storage?
It's storage. Storage downstairs. Yeah. And there's this really creepy stairway that goes like stone stairway that goes upstairs. It's really creepy down
Blair
there.
Witch style.
Very Blair Witch. Very Blair Witch. But we didn't get any of those creepy responses. We made contact with a little kid named Andy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we made contact with a little kid named Andy.
Mm-hmm.
He drowned. He was 8 years old. And this is all coming through while we're doing our investigation, coming through the spirit box. So
What do you mean coming through? What's coming through?
So we have equipment that we use called the spirit box, and what it does is it scans radio channels.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a button where you can turn off signal, and it'll just keep scanning.
Mm-hmm.
So if a voice comes through when the antenna is not working, more than likely you have made contact with something, especially if you're getting intelligent answers. Sometimes it's a radio station still, and you can tell. We were doing an investigation one time, and I thought I was getting something, but it was a damn Drake song that was coming through.
I used
But
to call
we-
me on your cell phone.
You know
But-
when the hotline plays?
But we were getting intelligent answers, and he said he's like, I miss my mommy. Like, you heard it.
Oh.
And
Aw.
what's your name? Andy. Okay, how did you die, Andy? And he said drowned. So then a couple weeks later at my house, my son calls me freaking the fuck out. He's like, Dad, there's a wet footprint in the apartment. And I'm like, what? Shut up. He takes a picture, and there's a little kid's footprint about that big. Just one singular wet footprint in my living room. So I go live on Facebook, and I do EVP session live on Facebook, and I'm making contact. Made contact with Andy, made contact with all these other entities that I had no idea were there at my house, but they wanted to talk, and they came out to talk. And like I said, this was all live on Facebook.
Whoopi Goldberg over here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got them all coming to him.
So I was like, okay, cool. Like, y'all can leave now. Like, you don't need to be here anymore.
Really?
And
How long ago was this?
Crazy man.
Ah, fuck. This was about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. But what set it off, other than
How old's your son? Sorry, I'm going to pause real quick.
he
How-
just turned 21.
Okay, so when this
So,
happened, he was freaking out
He
too,
was
I'm
like,
sure, right?
yeah, he was. He's my son's a big chicken. He's 6'4", big guy, but he's a huge chicken when it comes to this stuff. My daughter, on the other hand, she's about to be 17. She's like, fuck no, yeah, let's do this shit. Like, she's all about it. Like, when I told her we had ghosts, she's all, cool, leave them here. I'm like, no, I'm gonna cleanse the house, and she's like, no, don't do it. I want to make contact. But what set it off initially for me to do that, other than the wet footprint, was on my surveillance cameras, I caught a leg. It was just a leg in one of the pictures, and nobody was home, and it was a just fucking leg, and then you saw like blur up top. Bare footprint or barefoot leg of a little kid. I don't have little kids at the house, so that's why I ended up doing that live session. And yeah, it was pretty cool because, like I said, things were popping off, and I get scared when I do this stuff, and I was by myself, so it was freaking me out. So like I'm jumping, like I'm screaming in my chair. I'm like, what the fuck was that? But
So I'm one of those people that when I get immersed in this, I have addictive personality, right? So whenever I'm doing certain things, I'll dream about it all the time.
yeah.
So y'all being in this kind of world, do you have dreams about ghosts just because you're constantly thinking about it?
All the time, man.
All the time.
What kind of dreams do you have?
Well, I had this dream about this nun, man, and it was chasing me through the hall.
What hall, like a church or a home?
No, dude, it was just some random hall, and I was just laying there, dude, like just, like screaming, but I couldn't scream, and I was like, I don't know, it was weird, bro. Like I
Sleep
woke
paralysis.
up. Yeah, dude,
Was
I woke.
it a ghost nun or a nun?
Dude, it was like some
Did
evil
you go to
nun,
Catholic
dude.
school?
No, I didn't, but I am Catholic though.
Okay.
It's a crazy thing, And I guess it was from taunting the nun over there at the hospital, dude. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
see?
Like
that's what I told
Georgetown
you a while
Hospital.
ago. You gotta be nice to people.
Yeah, dude. So I'm like, man, okay, cool. So I'm running. I can't wake up. I feel like I'm dreaming, but I'm not dreaming. But it's weird because I know which way I fell asleep, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I wake up, I'm like a total opposite directions from when I laid. And I was like, I wake my wife up. I'm like, dude, what happened? She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you not see The Nun? She was like, dude, go to sleep, Todd.
Go to sleep. Weird porno.
Go to sleep. I was like, man, okay. When I wake up the next day, I wake up and I have this scratch all the way down my arm, dude. Past my pinhead, dude, right? It's like, it's just ugly red, dude. I'm like, dude, what the hell did I do last night, you know? So after that, I mean, I have a couple other dreams too, like where I'm just like,
I guess the reason I asked that is like if you're always thinking about it, it's just gonna be in there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's gonna
sometimes,
be
yeah.
like, I don't want to go to sleep tonight because who knows what I'm gonna think about tonight.
Well, I mean, dude, I go to sleep watching scary movies every night.
Really?
That's
Yeah, all
like
the time.
it's my
It's
comfort
normal.
thing. So
what's
it
your
doesn't.
favorite scary movie or series? Because it seems like every scary movie now, it's like,
It's a
oh, they
series
like
now,
that.
right?
Friday
10 of them.
Friday 13th.
Okay,
I love
yeah,
Friday
13
13th.
of them.
Hellraiser,
Hellraiser. I've never seen Hellraiser.
dude.
Don't watch the new one. Don't watch the
The
new
classics are where
Did
it's
y'all watch
at.
the new Jeepers Creepers? I heard that was boo doo doo.
Boo.
one. I
I
posted
saw, like,
the
a
picture,
meme.
bro.
Is
I
that-
posted the
is-
picture.
are you the one that
Look at how
posted
they
it?
massacred my boy.
The
So
mascara.
there's a picture. They show a picture of like the original,
Creeper.
Creeper
Creeper,
from
yeah.
the original Jeepers Creepers, and then it shows the new one, and he looks completely different.
Yeah,
and I was like,
horrible.
man, it looks
Total different.
bad.
the graphics in that film. So that film had a $2 million budget.
Damn, that doesn't seem like a lot.
It's not.
There's like episodes of Grey's Anatomy that have bigger budget than
But
that.
there's fan films that have done way better with way
Sure.
less money. And this was just trash. I haven't seen it. I've just seen bits and pieces of
Well,
it.
just the trailer alone.
Yeah.
And I think with the scary movies, like they're not like the way they used to be. I think everyone's trying to keep pushing it. I think the last time where someone actually did something was like the Conjuring, but then it's like
Yeah.
same thing. We need more money. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then Saw, we need more. It's like keep going, but they're doing
Yeah.
okay, but not like the original ones that
Yeah.
came out. The one that scared me, and I remember back to being in San Antonio, I'm like 13, 14. Parents like, we're gonna go see this movie. It's like crazy. It's all over the internet. It's all real. Da da da. I'm sure you can guess what movie it was. And so when we went to go see it, Blair Witch, I was convinced as a 14-year-old, this is real footage they
Yeah.
found. And internet's new to me, so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they found this footage and they just did it. So the whole time we're watching it, I'm just free. Everyone, in
Yeah,
the theater.
everybody
that was the last
freaked
time I
out,
remember
though.
being in a theater, and everyone was creeped out.
The whole
Yeah.
theater was quiet. I remember
Oh, except
watching it.
Paranormal Activity.
Paranormal Activity also did
That
the
one
same
did.
thing.
I went
but
home. I
they
went home
were-
with parents.
They
after
kind
that.
of like branched off that period,
Yeah.
dude. you
But
know?
I just made my daughter watch Blair Witch for the first time, and I did not tell her it
How
was
old is she
fake.
again?
She's gonna be 17 next month.
man.
So, but I did not tell
You
her
told
it
her
was
it was found
fake.
footage?
I told her it was found footage. I was like, "This
These
really
some friends of
happened,"
mine.
and she was legit scared. She was
Yeah.
like, "Dad, I want to sleep in your room."
And that's because it doesn't even show a lot.
They even had a legit website to go to.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I mean, that movie right there was a game changer for the horror genre because they didn't show anything. You saw nothing. It didn't show
The creepiest
witch.
scene I thought was just the guy standing in the,
In the
corner
corner.
at the very
Yeah.
end. I was like, even right now, I just pictured him just standing there.
Yeah.
You knew, like, oh,
Yeah.
man. I think a lot of times that kind of goes back to a lot of times the things that are the scariest to us are just in our head.
And it's
Because
just
only
stuff-
us, we can imagine the worst thing
Exactly.
possible. That's why in so many movies they don't show the monster until the very, very end because
Yeah.
they want you to be scared the whole time. And then they finally show you, like,
What's like Paranormal Activity was great until they did the one where they actually showed
part
the
2?
ghost. No, it wasn't part 2. It was
it was like further
the
into
ghost
it.
dimension. I think that one
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
ruined it for me because they actually showed the ghost going from one place to the other.
No, remember when they showed like the footprints and the sugar or the flour on
Yeah.
the floor? Oh, I did it again. Damn it! This like never got
Yeah.
goosebumps.
Yeah, and that's another thing that that we've done before too. You get baby powder, put baby powder, see if you get footprints.
What kind of calls do y'all get?
We had CCPD call us.
Really?
CCPD.
Like a police officer?
A
or
police
someone-
officer.
And say what?
He called me on Facebook Messenger and was like, "Hey, so I just got a call, and I don't think I can help her. Here's the situation. Basically, she was sitting in front of her vanity doing her hair, getting ready for work. She heard somebody say her name right in her ear. She freaked the fuck out, called her husband. Her husband told her to call the cops. The cops came, searched the entire house. Nobody was there. So he called me. I called the boys, and I'm like, hey, this lady's saying she's got some stuff going on. Let's go check it out. And so that was kind of cool. And they've called us twice. So that's kind of cool that the cops are like,
I don't want to mess with
we
it.
can't mess with we can't help you, but we know somebody who can. So we went, we did an investigation. We found whatever was there wasn't trying to harm her. It was a family member or something that was trying to like
her uncle?
make contact. Her uncle, I
Uncle,
think.
yeah, it was
Really?
uncle, yeah.
Yeah, it was her uncle trying to make contact with her. She had us cleanse her house. We cleansed her house, and
Does this kind of stuff happen more than what people think?
oh yeah, happens all the time, daily.
That's weird.
daily. Yeah.
Is it usually a certain type of person, or is it all types?
No, man. I mean, we've encountered.
I guess when I say that, is it like an older person? Is it someone
No.
that
We
maybe has
encounter
got a
so
little
different-
Yeah,
little
it's
wacky?
a huge. We've encountered a couple of wacky
I'm
people.
sure.
Yeah.
I want to say the very, very first investigation that Mike and I went on before TJ was that guy was whacked. But there was some evidence that something was making him act the
Whack.
way he was acting.
Yeah.
I had him sit in front of a mirror, and the dude just started like yelling and like growling. Mind you, this guy, he was part of the city council in Aransas Pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on, do I know that guy?
I don't know. He was. I'm not saying he is anymore, but he was. And so that's why we didn't post any of that on our social media because of who he was. So either he was on some kind of drugs or something, or something was making him
So you
act
said he
weird.
went to him twice?
We went to him once. We only went to
Okay.
him once.
Do you have repeat customers?
No, because usually when we do our job, we do it really good.
Really?
Yeah, like once we do the cleansing, if they ask for a cleansing, everything usually stops.
I would think if you had to go back to somebody, you'd be like, "What are you doing? You need to just chill. What are
Yeah.
you doing? Piss him off. You taunting him? You taunting?
Yeah. Well, there was this one guy. We had to go back twice, but only because he was looking for it. That's why I told him, even after I did the cleansing, I was like, you got to stop looking for it, because the more you look for it, it's going to come to you. And they had found his dad dead in the house. His dad was an avid collector of like all these weird, different artifacts, like just strange things. So a lot of the energy that was there was just fucking weird. You walk in that house and it was just like intense. You could feel it before even opening up any equipment. Like you could feel it. We had to go back to him twice, and I cleansed twice. And then after that second cleansing, I don't think he ever messaged us again. He might have messaged us recently, but I didn't get to get back to him yet. So
Delete.
no. We try to help everybody. We try to treat everybody fairly.
Well, it's got to be one of those things too that for people to, actually reach out.
Yeah.
Like they're going through something, and maybe they don't want to call. Maybe they don't want to believe it. Maybe they don't want to admit to themselves that, hey, I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah.
And no one wants to feel like they're crazy or feel like, hey, I don't know how to control what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't have anybody to talk to, or they do talk to somebody, and that person is maybe a loved one. They're like, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, there's no. Because, so I've never, besides the story I told you earlier, I've never had a situation where I felt like, oh yeah, this house is haunted. And that's because we see a lot of houses, and we get a lot of those questions all the time.
Yeah.
We get a lot of questions from people, surprisingly more than you would think, that ask, hey, if this house is haunted, do the people have to tell us? All the time. I would say once a month we get that question from a buyer who's looking for a new home. Hey, Gino, if this house is haunted, they have to tell us, right? And I've told them, and this is an actual law. It's called the Ghostbuster Law. Mm-hmm. So whenever you purchase a home, there's a form you fill out as an owner. It's called a seller's disclosure. And on this disclosure, it's just like, does it have central AC? Yep. Does it have fans? Does it have this? Does it have that? Yes, no, unsure. And it's 5 pages. You go through it. There's no section on there about, hey, is there any kind of ghost? So the reason it's called the Ghostbuster Law is, and the reason I'm bringing this up, is that you only have to disclose something if you can prove it.
Yeah.
Like if the fence is knocked down, you disclose, hey, fence is broken, because you can physically see it. You can prove it. But if you have a haunting, unless you can physically prove it, you don't have to disclose it.
Yeah.
And they're like, so if they, I guess that throws them off. I'm like, I'm not trying to trick you, but that's literally what the law is called. It came out in New York, and they called it the Ghostbuster Law after Ghostbusters. So it's a real thing. If you can't prove it, you don't have to disclose it.
Yeah.
And so that's a really weird thing. And that, my point is that we see a lot of houses that have never had that. My cousin Chris, the house that he had 2 houses ago, he said one of the big reasons why they moved is he felt he was haunted.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about it a lot, but he's convinced. His wife has told me as well. I thought they were joking with me.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all are just messing with me. Y'all messing with me. No, like they really moved because they thought it was haunted. So do you think is it always at a residential home, or like you went to different places, right?
It's not even.
It's crazy.
It's not even. It doesn't even have to be a building. The land. I used to work at a bar called Casey's Place. Mm-hmm. That bar was haunted as fuck. You could still go and pick up readings and shit from the spirits that are there, and so it's not something that is attached to the building. Now, do things get attached to certain objects and stuff? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, if a house is haunted, you can knock that house down, build another one. It's still going to be haunted. Yep.
Like poltergeist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where would you say is the most haunted place in Corpus? The most activity, either neighborhood, area, or actual physical place?
The house on, oh my God, what's the name of that damn, oh my God, I forget the name of the house.
It's right there by
By Ray
Custos,
High
right?
School. No, the one by Ray High School.
Right. Okay.
It came out in an episode of a haunting.
Place. Yeah, haunting.
It came out on an
Oh,
episode
really?
of a haunting on TLC, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah. And it's 2 houses down from where my aunt lives.
And people still live there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't last long. It's a rental house and they don't last long.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to know. Okay, so people can look it up and I can look it up later. What is it? It's near Ray High School.
It's near Ray High School. I don't remember the name of the damn
Street.
You could just look up Corpus Christi house on the haunting show.
Okay.
on.
How
It
long ago
should
was
pop
this?
up.
This was a long time ago.
So you think that's
Yeah.
what happened there? Like, can you remember?
It was a family that had moved in. They had a young daughter, and she was being stalked by whatever was there. She was 17.
Oh. You reminded
say
me of
there
the
were the
meme where it's like this. It shows like a realtor showing a house, like in this house right here, it's got 15 demons, blah blah. And it's like white family runs in, they're just like, yeah, boxes everywhere moving in.
That would be me.
dope.
They're like, let's get it. I don't remember the name of the street.
I'll look it up. But so you think it's that house? You just
I think
feel-
that house, and I've never been there.
Uh-huh.
I've seen it. I've stood outside of it. I've peeked in the windows.
I've drove by it.
peeked in the
one time.
windows. What are you doing?
I've peeked in the
While
windows.
someone's
Just-
living there?
No. Okay, so here's the thing about that house.
Wow.
The people that move in there, and this is no shit, you can drive by at any time. If somebody's moving in, give them maybe 3 months and they're moving out.
Really?
And for some reason, they never take their refrigerator. The refrigerator is always out in the street. Always.
Oh, like someone died in it, probably.
Always.
Maybe the food
I
goes
don't
bad.
know. I don't know why.
Maybe the food goes
But
bad.
literally, when I would go to my aunt's house, oh, cool, somebody's moving in. A few months later, oh shit, they're moving out.
I want to know what house.
Why
this
aren't
is
they
and who
taking the
owns it.
fucking refrigerator? It's right there on the corner of Staples, where right down the street from the
Jess, you able
Texan.
to pull it up?
What show is it
The
It's
Haunting?
called
Haunting.
a haunting.
A Haunting. And it's near Ray High School. So is it facing Ray High School? You see,
It's on the opposite side of street. It's on the
Okay.
opposite side of the
'Cause there's a
street.
lot of old
There's
homes
a
over there.
there's a Stripes right on the corner of that street. Right across from RMA, the RMA High School.
Where's the second most haunted place? Just we'll figure that
Second, I would say probably the Lexington.
one out.
Lexington has a lot.
Totally forgot about that. Okay, so
Lexington has a lot of
I've never been to
activity.
Lexington, but I know they do a lot of that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
We've actually investigated there. It was
Really?
really cool. We got a lot of activity, but it's all residual activity. So residual
mean?
activity means it's like playing on a loop, like on a VCR. You're playing on a tape. They don't know you're there. They're just going about their day. They don't know that they're dead. They don't know. They're just living their life, and that energy's just on a repeated loop.
Whoa.
So what was one of the cool things that we got that no other team has ever gotten was we actually got sounds of a battle going on.
Really?
Like you could hear explosions. You could hear like planes shooting. Like you could hear like bombs blowing up. Like it was crazy.
Did y'all get to spend the night there too?
We were going to spend the night, but we ended up not spending
Is
the
that
night.
allowed?
Yeah, they were gonna let us spend the night there.
Really?
But yeah, but we ended up
Ugh,
not spending
no
the night
way.
there because like the AC, like it was too hot in there or some shit.
It was more like a
Just sleep on
group
the deck.
setup though, right?
Yeah, it was like a group setup.
So there's other
Travel
teams
Channel
on
was there.
too,
Yeah.
so-
there was other teams. It wasn't just us. But that was a really cool experience, and we were the only ones to get those sounds. And there's a man that actually runs the ghost tour. His name's Bill.
Oh, they do ghost tours there.
Yeah, they do ghost tours. Yeah, especially around
I
Halloween
think they
time.
got one coming up right now too. As
Hell
well.
yeah, I want
Yeah,
to go.
you should go, dude. It's actually
Well,
really
one,
cool.
I've never been in Lexington, but two, it'd be cool to go.
And
for
the
that.
history,
Is it nighttime?
it is at night. It is at
Yes.
night. It's really cool. And so Bill was like, that's something we've never gotten. He's like, we've had tons of teams come on here, and this is the first time that we've ever heard any kind of noises like that. And then when we were in the infirmary, we kept getting like, you could hear like somebody screaming for help, like in the infirmary. Like it was crazy. It was so cool. So the Lexington's probably number one. That house just freaks me out more than what's on the Lexington,
Why does the house freak you out?
because that is an intelligent entity that is in that home.
Haunting somebody.
That is
Oh, I guess-
something that will attack you. That is something that can hurt you.
Oh.
What's on the Lexington can't hurt you. Not that it's a happy energy, but what's there cannot hurt you because it doesn't even realize that you're there.
I would think that anywhere where there was a lot of action, so like battleships or like there's
Gettysburg,
like all these different places where you see like these older movies, you see like Braveheart, you see all these different all over the world. There's been these wars that were fought where it's just thousands and thousands of people attacking each other on like land, and then most of the bodies just buried there. I would think that's where a lot of the action is that people don't get to see because it's just in these dark fields. And don't necessarily want to go spend the night in a field.
I mean,
like I do.
We do.
I would.
We do.
What would be a dream place that you would like to go? I would think a place like. Have you ever been to New York?
I have. Been
I
to
would
New
picture
York.
somewhere like New York. A lot of stuff happened just because it's an area. And like Gangs of New York, you've seen like those movies. Like that's an old city, and a lot has happened. Especially
even
like,
now.
Well, like New Orleans and stuff too. It's very similar where there's just been cities that have been built and rebuilt, And that was one of the funnest things I've ever done when I went to New Orleans for the first time.
Yeah.
Because the first time I went, it was just a bachelor party. Didn't do much. And my wife and her family went to go the second time. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to come back here, babe. It's just you don't want to come back here. She's like, no, we're gonna go. But we did the ghost tours. And we got to see all the different houses.
Yeah, ghost tours are really cool.
All the stuff Nicolas Cage bought around that area and all the properties. Yeah, all the properties he had owned, and you're like, again, the city had been burnt, built, hurricane, and then New York kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So for me, I have two. One of them is the Myrtles Plantation in I forget the name of the town.
Who are the Myrtles?
The Myrtles were a family that owned this plantation. They had slaves. There was a lot of bad things that happened on this plantation.
Where's it at?
In Louisiana.
Okay.
And we're going there in February.
Really?
For my birthday.
As a group? Oh,
it's my birthday investigation.
What a weird birthday wish.
Bro.
It's going to be good. Hopefully he doesn't get poisoned, though.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Did you get poisoned the last
But there's a
time
lot
with
of
New Orleans?
voodoo. There's a lot of voodoo and stuff
Sure.
that occurred there. So there's a lot of activity at that place. So we're going there in February. But my absolute dream investigation is the Conjuring House.
It's a real house.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
And it's still standing?
It's a
It is still
farmhouse,
standing.
yes.
It's a farmhouse. I
didn't
had
know
the
that.
opportunity to go there last year.
Okay.
Another ghost group out of Texas was like, hey, we have an extra spot. All you got to do is buy your plane ticket. It's paid for. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get on Google and I look up flights out of Corpus to Connecticut. $666.
Oh, no way, bro.
Six.
Every flight. I
Dude.
swear to God, every single flight was $666. And I was like,
I'm going to fly out of San Antonio.
I was like, so then I looked up flights out of San Antonio. $666. Dude, I have pictures. They were on my Facebook. I posted them because I said, I cannot make this shit up. So I took it as an omen. And I said, nope.
still booked? Oh.
Nope. I said, nope. I said, I'm not going. I'm not fucking going. Like, there's things that I will mess with, but I have my limitations. I'm all about the paranormal, but I ain't, I know an omen when I see one.
Yeah.
I always try to get him to mess with the Ouija board, too, man.
No,
He's
man.
like, no.
Well, you were gone for a while, so I had to step it up.
I went on vacation.
He went on vacation for a while, so I had to step it up. And we had our very first tour investigation. So we rented out a location and we had people come and we basically hosted the tour for them. Then they were able to run around on their own.
Wait, where?
At the Old Lavaca County Jail in Hallettsville.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a good place, man.
Yeah, it's a really cool place
Why?
for
Why do you say
beginners.
why do you
For
say it's a good
beginner
place?
investigations, it's a cool place because they got a lot of activity
It's just
there.
easy to catch stuff.
Easy to catch stuff. Yeah.
I've had this weird EVP there, man, with me.
What's an
Just-
EVP again?
So EVP
Electronic
is like
voice
electronic
phenomenon.
voice phenomenon.
Okay.
So I was just sitting there, man, and I was like, all right, it's an old county jail, right? Sorry. It was an old county jail, right, man? And I was just like totally just like, all right, this is my place, bitches, right? And all of a sudden we get this reading and it says, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, dude. Like,
And
I was like,
it's
"Oh."
not we don't hear it with our ear, but when we play it back, you hear him go, This is my cell now, bitches.
Yeah.
And then you hear, fuck you. Dude, and we were like, what the fuck? Because
Dude,
none
we're
of us said
tripping,
fuck
dude.
you. We were so it's a
Nobody.
good place
But
to go
you can't
to.
hear that till you play back?
You can't hear it
Yeah.
till you play it back.
Oh.
So electronic voice phenomenon.
No.
But yeah, so I took the whole Conjuring thing as no. Well, I have another opportunity coming up. I don't know if you know Eric Cantu. He has offered, he wants to go. So he offered to pay for my flight plus one more Ghost Vato, because that's our nickname. We're the Ghost Vatos. One more to go. And so we may soon be here investigating the Conjuring
Conjuring
House.
House. That'd be
Yeah.
really cool. How soon? Do you know?
I just saw him a couple days ago at HEB, and he was like, "You still down?" I was like,
Yeah.
Book the flights. Let's go." He's like, "All right, I'll get with you." So hopefully soon.
Man, Y'all are crazy.
No, yeah, dude. I mean, and you got to be a little crazy.
For me,
We do
this
it for
right
the
now
love, though,
is
man.
enough. I'm like, okay, I got my fill.
Yeah,
I got
no.
my fill.
I
So for
want
people
more.
that I got to let y'all go here in a little bit. For people that want to see y'all stuff, see y'all's live videos, see all the different things y'all post about, and contact you if they have that thing where they can't talk to anybody else about it, where do they go?
Facebook. The best way to reach us is on our Facebook, which is Darkside Paranormal Corpus Christi, and like I said, it's spelled Darkseid.
And who's monitoring those messages?
We all do.
Everybody.
All of us. We all have it. So sometimes we'll be like, pretty much, And we hired this girl at the beginning to basically be our Janine because there was only 4 of us, and I'm like, we're the Ghost Vatos. We're not the Ghostbusters. We're the Ghost Vatos. We need that girl to manage our Facebook page, and she's gonna be our Janine, book our our investigations and stuff. It didn't work out. She wasn't about it, but
She disappeared
not
like a
about that
ghost,
ghost
bro.
life.
She
she's not about that
ghosted
ghost life. She
ghosted
ghosted us. She turned
man.
into a ghost herself. But yeah, so just message us on Facebook, and one of us will get to you. Like, we all have access to the page, and if sometimes somebody will be like, hey, answer this guy, and I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
We'll have
You
to
know?
call you next time we have that question from someone that's looking to buy a house because we
Yeah,
do like
dude, and here's the thing.
inspections, do foundation. Like, if
so
you want to
down to
get
do it,
one,
man.
Here's the thing: we
for the
don't
rates.
charge anything.
Nothing. Zero.
We don't care if you're in a different state. We don't care if you're in a different city. We will go to you. We charge absolutely nothing. It's unethical to charge for this kind of stuff to help people. You don't. If you come across,
not to the Ghostbusters, they're making bank.
I mean, but come on.
You know how much real
Yeah,
estate is in
sweet
New York?
proton packs, though, dude.
They had to pay for the firehouse. We don't have to do that. But if you want to throw us some food or a place to stay, we're down. But we
You know, be really creepy. I just thought of this right now when you said the EVP stuff. What if when we play this back,
Oh, you might.
Maybe.
my producer's kind of crafty though. She might just throw some stuff. Like that wasn't in there.
Fuck you.
That's just her normally. Well, guys, thank you all again for being here. This is
yeah,
Gino's
man.
Tables.
Thank you.
We like to see what people bring to the table. Obviously, a lot. If I can get you, where are they at? The little Sharpies over here. I would love if you had that sticker you said, but if not, just draw y'all's logo, sign it right there, and we're good to go, man.
Hell yeah,
I'd love
man.
to have you back sometime soon. This is coming out right before Halloween.
And
Yeah.
just before, are we done already? Are we
No, we're still
going?
going.
Okay, so I just want to send a shout out to the boys that aren't here right now:
Sure.
Ben DeLeon, Mike Salazar, and Joe Rhodes. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Ghost Vatos for life.
Ghost Vatos
Forever.
Y'all should get a tattoo. Y'all should get tattoos. Oh, I didn't get y'all's other gift. Here, y'all can open y'all's last gift.
What?
My bad, forgot.
Dude.
Oh, dude, sweet.
So I got y'all. Everybody that comes on, I always get everybody a custom hat with their world. So like we had Alan
wow,
Holt
dude.
recently. He was on
like
here, and we
it.
got the little weather cloud. We had Mark Gonzalez with the gavel. So of course it's fitting. The ghost glows in the dark too, which
Oh, that's badass.
it's
Thank
got like
you,
a special
bro.
glow in the dark thread.
We're gonna wear these on our
I'll have
next
to get y'all a couple
investigation.
more. I didn't realize it was 5 guys.
Yeah,
Now I gotta
yeah.
get. There's only 2 guys here. There's only 2 mics.
Yeah, when TJ went on vacation, that's when we got Ben in there with us to kind of even out the group, and everybody just works so well together, man. Like
cool,
we
man,
all have
dude.
different personalities.
I would
brothers.
want people that I trust and work well with to go do these things.
You should come with us one
if
time,
I didn't
man.
Like,
Yeah, man.
I would.
I'm throwing the invite out there. Next
just let me know
investigation
what
that we
you
have, we'll
I'll ask the
definitely,
wife.
yeah, ask the wife first.
Wife said no.
Yeah, but no, but we're talking about renting out the jail again, and maybe just doing the jail just for a shits and giggle
I'm
investigation.
going to try to get us on the Lexington, too, man.
I would
Overnight.
go for that one.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
know on that one.
Yeah,
Well, guys,
definitely.
thank you all very much for
Yeah,
coming
man.
in. It was a
No
lot of
problem.
fun. It's going to be pretty scary to play this back. It's all dark here now.
Yeah.
Cool.
might hear
Sign
some
it. You got to
voices.
sign the table, though.
Oh,
Sign the
yeah,
table.
sign
Always
it.
it.
Dude, go ahead.
Appreciate you guys.
Can you
Wait,
draw
make sure
the logo?
it's the metallic ones. The metallic ones. It's like this one.